You guys keep asking me about all sorts of coins these days. This coin, that coin, you're throwing a lot of names at me. But I've told you before, Bitcoin made history with a single breakthrough moment, just one defining moment. That's why Bitcoin stands out as the one true coin. Only Bitcoin is the real coin. Other coins can't even come close. It's simply not possible. No matter how much marketing they do in the media, no matter how much buzz they create, they're still just one of many coins. Bitcoin is the only one that truly matters. When I had my awakening, I couldn't sleep for a month or two. If you've ever felt that deep sense of awe through Bitcoin, if you've truly experienced that, then after that, feel free to explore and invest in other coins. Really, it's okay after that point, because then I believe you've grasped the essence. But if you think you understand Bitcoin and immediately jump into altcoins, then honestly, I don't think you've understood Bitcoin at all. If Bitcoin hasn't resonated with you, then you haven't truly understood it. If you didn't feel something powerful, you haven't truly understood Bitcoin. So why is Bitcoin such a civilization-level event? Let's think about that for a moment. Imagine trying to send gold from your home to the US. There are a few ways you might try. You could ship it with FedEx, or you could deliver it in person. Of course, customs might stop you. But let's set those issues aside for now. Whether you use FedEx or deliver it personally, it still takes time. So what did humans come up with to solve this? Instead of physically moving gold, we created gold accounts. You store your gold somewhere trustworthy. You leave the gold in custody like this and transfer the ownership through a gold account. That's the traditional financial system we know. But now think about this for a moment. What if physicists created a special kind of device that breaks gold down into molecules, and those molecular gold particles are sent as an electric signal all the way to the US. Once the signal reaches the US, the gold is reassembled there in physical form. The gold here disappears, and new gold appears over there, just like that. Wouldn't that be mind-blowing? It's not just about transferring gold, maybe not living things yet, but inanimate matter could be transmitted electronically. It would mark the beginning of something huge. Even putting that part aside, if you could directly send the gold itself, without putting it in anyone's custody, then you'd probably see that as a revolution. What kind of financial innovation that would trigger depends on your understanding and knowledge of finance. Whether you can grasp it now or not doesn't really matter. What matters is, it marks the beginning of something massive. Bitcoin is just like sending gold directly, almost identical. It's the starting point of true financial innovation. Really think about this. You deposit gold with a custodian and transfer ownership through a gold account. It seems similar, but the gold still sits with that custodian, and you have to believe that person will return it. You need to trust them. You also have to believe that they won't be frozen by the government or shut down. That system relies heavily on trust, but sending the gold itself over the network like this, that's exactly what Bitcoin made possible. Everything changed once it crossed the $1 mark. After Bitcoin went over $1, once it was seen as stable enough, Satoshi Nakamoto disappeared. If you follow the timeline, he vanished right after confirming Bitcoin had passed $1. That shows how much Satoshi valued that $1 milestone. So when Bitcoin crossed that $1 threshold, why is that such a big deal? Because its status completely changed. Exactly. There's a field called topology. Think of a regular cup without a handle. Now compare that to the shape of a donut and a perfect sphere, like a ball. A cup without a handle is topologically the same as a sphere. Even if it kind of looks like a donut, no matter how similar it seems, it's fundamentally different in topology. But when you add a handle, a mug with a handle isn't like a sphere. Topologically, it's the same as a donut. To put it simply, you can reshape a donut into a mug with a handle. But if you reshape a sphere until you punch a hole in it, you can't turn it into the topology of a handled mug. You can knead a sphere's shape all you want. Just smoothing it out won't do it. You can make a cup with no handle, sure, but you can't make a handleless cup from a donut. Once Bitcoin passed $1, its topology fundamentally changed. So if you really think about it deeply, when Bitcoin hit $10,000, everything it enabled as a system, you could already do that with $1 Bitcoin. It's just a matter of quantity. With $0 Bitcoin, though, no matter how much you have, you can't do anything with it if it's worth zero. So if we take a bold perspective and abstract the idea a bit, Bitcoin at $1 or $1 million, functionally, it's the same, because its topology doesn't change. Crossing that $1 mark is the hard part, but once it does, it can go to $1 million, even $10 million. It's not that shocking anymore. I know, it sounds kind of crazy. Regarding the aspect that interests you, we're treating this price issue way too lightly, right? Yes, it's a a bit absurd. So you might ask, well, if it's at $40,000 now, are you saying it wouldn't matter if it dropped to $1? That's a fair question. Let's say Bitcoin was worth $40,000. Why doesn't it just drop to $1? It's much easier for the price to go up this way, because the structure, the topology, is still the same. It can climb to $100,000, then to $1 million, and even $10 million. But for something worth $100,000 to fall to $10,000, or from $10,000 to $1,000, or from $1,000 to $100, that's much harder. Climbing back up in value, that's the real challenge. Anyway, Bitcoin passing $1 was truly a historic moment. It was the first time a value could travel directly and was no longer in the sender's hands. Before Bitcoin, nothing like that existed. Literally nothing, right? I send it, and what I'm sending is the value itself. It's not a token of value or a promise. The actual value moved, and it's no longer with me. That's what makes it so groundbreaking. Music is digital and has value, sure, but when you send it, you still retain it. You're just sending a duplicate, right? But with Bitcoin, once you send it, it's gone from you. It's digital, but behaves like a physical object. Humanity created this. It's absolutely monumental. That's why Bitcoin deserves to be called the coin. Everything else, just a coin. So yes, understanding how Bitcoin works is important, but it's even more important to grasp its civilizational meaning. Bitcoin going over $1 was the moment we could finally send value and have it actually travel directly. Think about that for a second. Until now, humans, we've never made anything like this before. Now, starting from Bitcoin, a new era begins. You know, delivery and wire transfer, they're totally different. If I send my daughter in the US a care package, say I send her the kimchi I made myself, then must arrive exactly as I sent it. Now, if the delivery company says it's close enough and delivers some store-bought kimchi instead, would you just let that slide? Of course not. But money? It doesn't really travel directly. It works through a network of trust, kind of like Hawala. It's not the same money I gave that gets delivered. What's being transmitted is credit. So does that mean Bitcoin won't go directly anymore either? Exactly. Eventually, even Bitcoin might not move directly. It could be used as collateral instead. And then credit flows indirectly. If you think about it simply, that's a layered architecture by leaving Bitcoin itself untouched, and instead issue something backed by it, a token that represents it. That's the real issue at hand. But right now, in its pure peer-to-peer form, Bitcoin still moves directly. It's the actual asset being transferred. But it doesn't have to be that way, because humans have trust, credit systems. So when people say Bitcoin is too slow, that it can't keep up with credit cards, well, credit cards are just indirect transfers, right? They're fast, not because of tech, but because of the system backing them. Massive credit card companies, they're the ones guaranteeing every transaction. Bitcoin has the ability to transfer directly, and we can trust it as it is. But once it combines with a credit system, then Bitcoin becomes the fastest of them all. And there are two ways to make that happen. One is without relying on any trusted third party, a trustless system of integration. People are working on that too. Many parts of it are already mathematically proven. That's also incredibly powerful. Now, I studied business and economics, and I always emphasize that. So my mind tends to be flexible in these areas. I don't get too dogmatic. That trustless approach is great, but why not also link it to the existing credit card system? Why not? Exactly. Why not? That would make everything lightning fast. You wouldn't even notice any inconvenience.